Whatever you're doing is working, and you really need to keep it up. That is the message I am getting for you right now, Virgo. And it feels like whether this is you showing up to something every day or even every week, a little bit now is going to go a long way in the future. So really show up for yourself. Do that stability thing you do so well. Give this your due diligence, and success will naturally follow. So really exciting here. I can't wait to dive into all of this and really see what this is about. I did actually pull a couple of animal cards here, which we'll look at before diving into some tarot cards for you. But before we get into all of that, I just want to thank all of you who support this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. If you've been following around for some time and you haven't done so already, now is an excellent time to hit that subscribe and bell notification, because I'm very likely to rebrand. So follow along now. There's never been a better time to do it. That way you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. I am also running a sale, so if you'd like to get 15% off any of my services, you can use the code Jupiter at checkout on my website, and that's going to be good until June 24th. So if you've been wanting to get into a deep dive and work one-on-one together, now is an excellent time for that as well. So let's get into some of these animal cards. I did have the eagle come out first, and whenever I see this card, it's a beautiful card, but it also kind of makes me a little anxious. I'm not gonna lie, because this card is about to show you how capable you are. You are doing something all on your own. And sometimes I even get the sense, like when you're working with guides or angels or ancestors, whoever it is that you work with in the spiritual realm, sometimes there's chapters in your life where it's like, we're not helping you. This is something you have to do on your own. I'm kind of getting that message for you right now, Virgo. Like, they want you to see just how capable you are, because the success that you are coming into, or the manifestation you are about to realize, the goal, whatever it is that you do to kind of set goals for yourself, you're going to realize it. And it's going to make you see just how capable you are. And you are more capable than you know. Okay, I do also see the spider card here, and this is where I really feel like consistency is key. But the beautiful thing about the spider is that it actually reminds me a lot of the psychological concept of flow state. This is basically when you're so engrossed in a task that you almost lose track of time and the world around you, and you're just completely immersed. And so when I see the eagle and spider together, this actually feels like there is a message here about just going after your flow and really acting on those moments of inspiration and productivity. And again, even if you don't feel inspired, I do feel like consistency is key, and you could motivate yourself and gain momentum by just going for something. So use your discernment here. These are general readings, and it's really up to you to figure out how these messages apply to your own life. But I get the sense, Virgo, you are very, very capable, and you are doing something that honestly almost feels like it's impossible to your present self, but when you look back on it, is going to be a key moment or a key chapter in realizing something that is like purpose or destiny to you. I am also noticing the deer at the bottom of the deck here as well, which is a beautiful indication of fertility and new beginnings. This also kind of feels like your energy to me. It's very sweet, very grounded, very connected to nature. And so if you are, I will say with deer, sometimes there is this kind of prey instinct where you can get stuck in fear and even become paralyzed. So if you're feeling stuck right now, giving yourself those moments out in nature, or anything that's grounding to you, or anything that just helps you become present, go to these practices daily as well. Maybe that's even part of this message. Now, I do feel like for some of you with the spider, I did get an additional message where if you're having a lot of interactions with them or sightings with them, and not just like the normal everyday things where you kind of would expect to see a spider, but there's just something weird synchronicity wise with spiders. Maybe you're seeing the symbolism a lot. Maybe you're having more spiders in your living space. This might actually be an indication that there is some sort of heavy energy that needs to be cleansed or corrected right now. So that's something to just kind of put out there. I did actually pull a plant card just to kind of confirm if this was a message for this group, and it does feel like that is the case with sage and the message being purify here. Now, obviously, a lot of people think of sage and they automatically jump to white sage. It's actually not an herb that I use in my own practice. Instead, I prefer to use heritage herbs, things from Italian folk magic as well as Celtic practices, because I do have some of that Irish ancestry as well. And I've really been doing as much as I can to reconnect with my ancestors in that way. And I always encourage people to do that as well. I actually did get a message for some of you that it's very important that you are discerning with who and what you work with on the spiritual plane. So whether that is certain practices, certain herbs, or even certain entities or beings, it feels like it's important to really tune into your body. Because sometimes if you just have this like really mental rush when you're doing a practice, that can be an indication that it's not a whole body, a whole spiritual experience. So really tune into your whole body, to your whole essence, to feel out what practices and what entities are correct for you at this time. So that's something that's interesting. Maybe some of you are working with entities who are almost like shapeshifters and they're claiming to be one thing, but they're actually another. So I just want to put that out there for those of you who kind of work on that level. Otherwise, I think just be very selective with who and what you bring into your life in general, even on the mundane level. I personally think everything in life is magic. But even on what that seemingly mundane level, maybe there is something about being selective and being selective with what you want to draw into your web, because you are manifesting something, you are creating a strong foundation for yourself that is going to be bringing you opportunities. So love this energy overall. Sometimes when you grow beautiful things, it attracts some unsavory figures. Or it just brings the weeds, and sometimes you need to tend to that garden. So just going to kind of leave you with those messages. I'm really, really curious to see what all of this is about exactly. So I'm going to start shuffling the deck. And again, just a friendly reminder that these are general readings. They are also timeless, so you're welcome to tune into this whenever your intuition draws you in. You're also welcome to check out the other readings on my channel for your sun, moon, rising sign, whatever. It honestly really doesn't matter too much in these kind of more fluid readings. So really just trust your intuition and discernment to bring you to the messages that are meant for you at this time. And maybe even pausing this video, taking a moment to tune in with yourself so you can best discern what messages apply to your own life and how. So what are the messages that we have for Virgo? Show us clearly, please. What are the messages for Virgo at this time? Wow. So pretty much what I just said is the first three cards, because in the past we had the Page of Wands. This is having a lot of creative ideas, feeling really inspired, or needing to reconnect with your passion. And if you haven't been doing that, then this could actually be talking about something from the distant past. Maybe now is the time to kind of reconnect to a period where you felt most alive, or most passionate, or excited. What were you doing? What were the things that made you excited to get up each day? If this is something that you haven't been connecting with. If you have been, then it really does feel like you've been figuring out, where is this leading me? How can I move forward with this? How can I act on these inspirations and make this more consistent and more stable for me? So if you are an artist or creative or even some kind of spiritual practitioner, it feels like tuning into those moments of passion, following that is really important, kind of like I was talking about with the eagle and the spider. And we actually do have the Ace of Pentacles here, which does indicate new beginnings, new opportunities, growth, prosperity. There is a stable new beginning, and for some of you, a new offer, or even just like a new lease on life overall. I'm kind of getting that here. Regardless of whether you're doing something professionally or not, just by following these passions, it feels like somehow it's making you more abundant. But I do feel like a lot of you are working on a passion project right now, and you've been planning this, you've been wanting to make moves, and now it feels like you either are starting something or there is the next level. There is progress that is being made. What else do we have for Virgo here? Where is this going? What is the change? We have the Page of Cups. Interesting. We have the Page of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. So some of you are actually getting out of a period of instability or insecurity. That is part of the change here. And the Page of Cups, I'm going to be honest, it might be about asking for help or asking for advice from other people, especially if it feels like you've been working alone or been left in the cold. Some of you might actually be connecting with another individual as well at this time, maybe even supporting each other. Perhaps this is even like, I'm almost getting, I feel like you're talking to a new romantic connection. And to be honest, I'm not really sure if this is something that's going anywhere, but it's like this person is in your life at this time for a reason. So that's going to be a message that only applies for some of you, but it feels like there is someone here who is supporting you in some way right now. Maybe you're going through a shared struggle and you're working on something together, or just on kind of like a similar chapter in your journeys. Where is all of this going for Virgo? Where is all of this going for Virgo? Interesting. We do have the Five of Swords. So some of you are walking away from situations that don't serve you anymore, and I was kind of wondering if that was the case with the Sage message, a need to kind of purify or cleanse spaces or walk away from situations that are toxic, purifying your own energy, because I feel like there has been something tangled in your web, Virgo, that hasn't necessarily been serving you. And I do feel like maybe there's... if you're single, I'm going to be honest with you, Virgo, right now, it feels like you're kind of distracting yourself with relationships. That might not be the best use of your time. If you're like looking for new relationships or connecting with new people, maybe going on the dating apps a lot, it's almost like maybe some of you just want the attention or you just want the engagement. Or even if you are looking for someone, it just feels like it's a distraction and your energy is best spent kind of on this project you are working on. I know that's not always the message people want to hear. It's not to say that there's no love or anything in the orbit for you at all. It's just saying, like, right now, if you're being honest with yourself, you might be letting your feelings and infatuations be a distraction from something that is intrinsically important for you. So just something to discern there. I do also feel like there is a lot of focus for you. This is a timeless reading, but astrologically, Jupiter has just entered into Cancer, which is your 11th house of ideals, hopes, wishes, as well as social support, communities, friendships, groups. And so maybe some of you are kind of in this process right now of feeling like you need to look for support elsewhere and seek out different kinds of relationships, because that's on the intuitive level drawing you to people who are going to be giving you opportunities that are going to serve you in your future. So if you do feel like you kind of need to surround yourself with different people right now, or go to different places or different venues or different kinds of events or join different groups, I really do feel like that is a very strong indication that yes, you should do that, because there is very likely something meaningful there or someone important to you that you are meant to meet. And yeah, I do feel like there are some endings. There are some closing out of chapters or cycles in your life right now with the Ten of Swords. Can I actually get a little bit of clarification? What is ending here for Virgo? I almost feel like, to be honest, Virgo, it's like by you becoming more successful and stable, I almost feel like there's people around you who aren't celebrating that for you or with you for some reason. And it's hitting you. It's landing for you in a way where it's like, I thought you cared about my prosperity, about my success. And I don't think it's necessarily about you, Virgo, if that is something that you're encountering now or very soon. It's that it's bringing up insecurities for them. Your success might be making people insecure. On the flip side, though, there could be people who are trying to ride on your coattails a little bit. They want a little bit of your success. They want to kind of take from your successes without necessarily giving you anything in return. So that might also be sort of a message of being discerning with what you are attracting to your web right now, or who. I'm kind of hearing the expression right now, like more money, more problems, which is sort of funny, but in this case, it does sort of feel like that, actually. um, Interesting. I would be really curious to hear in the comments, like, what it is that you're working on, what it is that you're building, because I think you are getting a lot of notice. That's for sure. It's just, it might also be bringing up a need for discernment with whose attention is on you right now and why. Yeah, I do feel the Six of Pentacles, because I think there are actually people around you who want to be supportive and people who help you out. You know what I'm getting? With the Page of Cups and the Five of Pentacles, I feel like some of you are trauma bonded to a person right now. And you're kind of moving out of the trauma or victim mentality. And this other person just isn't or isn't ready to. Maybe that's just not where they're at yet. I'm not here to tell them that. This is your reading. For you, though, it feels like you're kind of moving on from a disempowered energy or situation. You're getting yourself out of that. And I almost get the sense someone feels abandoned by you. So that might be something to kind of cleanse, because even when someone is thinking these kind of negative or intense thoughts or this envy, that can be a kind of a small hex or psychic attack. This is malokyo, evil eye. That might be something to kind of look out for. If I'm not mistaken, there is something with spiders in malokyo too, or maloho. There's a lot of different kind of variations of the evil eye. So that might actually be something to look into, especially if you have any kind of like Latinx, Italian, Mediterranean, ancestral heritage. Maybe that's something to look into too. I'm hearing Afro-Sicilian, so maybe also African kind of practices as well, especially the parts of Africa that are kind of near the Mediterranean. Interesting. Anything else for Virgo? We have the Seven of Pentacles. I'm actually seeing this as quite a positive card. I was about to say, what is the blessing for Virgo? And like whatever it is that you've been working hard towards is about to pay off. It doesn't mean that it's done, because just because you have the harvest ready doesn't mean that the work is over. You now have the process of reaping what you have sown. Which I like. You will reap what you have sown, and I mean that in a very positive way. I do have the Four of Cups. You are seeing something as a blessing. And maybe it's a situation that you've been in, you're learning how your struggle can potentially help other people or connect you to different causes. You're seeing a silver lining. Any other blessings for Virgo? Any other blessings for Virgo? We have the King of Cups. Very emotionally mature and composed, very balanced. Some of you might be connecting with a water sign, especially Scorpio, could also be Cancer or Pisces. Tell me about this King of Cups. Why is the King of Cups here? I feel like this is just a role that you are entering into, or how you are being perceived. Anything else here? We have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, there is good news coming in. You might be getting a good review or a new opportunity or some kind of praise that is opening doors for you. Doors are opening for you. And there will be collaboration in the future. with the Three of Pentacles, there are people who are going to be worth working with or bouncing ideas off of, or even just supporting each other in your goals. I really do feel like who you surround yourself with, Virgo, is kind of an important undercurrent in this reading, because there's, I forget the expression, but it's like you're kind of the culmination of the 5 people you are closest to. So if you think about the 5 people in your life that you are most connected to, that you care about the most, what are their traits? What are they like? Are these people that you want to be like? And I'm not saying to cut people out necessarily. That might not be necessary, but who are you putting most of your time and energy into? Who is occupying your head and heart the most? Those people, there should be more people who you are inspired by. And you can kind of get excited together. Yeah, the Lovers. Who you work with. There could be a partnership here. And I don't honestly necessarily think this is romantic for most of you. I think this is just about you going in the same direction as somebody else. These migrating geese, they're being called in the same way. And I feel like this is very much about you finding inspiring relationships and connecting with people who open doors for you and make things happen, because that's who you're becoming. And I think those are all the messages I have for you at this time, Virgo. I do hope that this was helpful. If you've made it all the way to the end here, definitely give it a little spider emoji so we know you've got all the way to the end. Definitely be sure to hit like and subscribe as well. Again, I am running a sale on my website, so if you'd like to book a personal reading, whether that's tarot or astrology or even doing an energy healing session, you can get 15% off using the code Jupiter at checkout. Again, that is good until June 24th, so snag that while you can. And I will see you all in the next video. I'm sending lots of love and blessings your way. Take care, Virgo.